Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Utica. I'm Roz Kearney, member of the board. Whether you are visiting for the first time or have been a member for many years, you are welcome here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, you are welcome here. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. We are invited to bring our whole selves to this worship service, our doubts as well as our convictions, the pain and joy we have known, our longing for connection and understanding. Every part of you is welcome here. Our congregation acknowledges that the land on which UUUtica is situated is the ancestral lands of the Oneida Nation, one of the original nations of the Haudenosaunee or Iroquois people. If you are visiting for the first time, either in person or online, we are glad you have joined us. We would love to learn more about you and connect with you in our newsletter if you would like. There will be a link in the chat to a form that we hope any online visitors would fill out, and we hope you stay for informal conversation in breakout groups after the service. We have several announcements, one of which is not listed here, but is sort of the major event of this morning, which is that Reverend Karen is sick. So she apparently has food poisoning and feels really terrible. Phyllis Broccoli's family invites us to join them for an informal gathering, a celebration of life for Phyllis in the town of Paris Park. It will be this Tuesday, August 23rd, 1:30 to 3:30. Food, photos, and friends. The address is 2674 Sulphur Spring Road, Secoit, and that's also in this week's newsletter. Next Sunday, August 28th, is our tour of the Norman Rockwell exhibit at Munson Williams with Professor Daniel Buckingham. Bring your lunch to the church. Daniel will give a pre-talk at noon and will start the Munson Gallery tour at 1. You may have noticed a large circular dug up space in the front of the church. With thanks to Carol and Paul, who arranged with Hamilton College freshmen to stay and work with us this past week, that space will become a pollinator garden. And on September 25th, all will be invited to help with hands and trowels and by cheering us on to plant 200 plants donated by Nature Care's Pollinator Project. And please note that September 10th gathering, we are calling a startup, as in starting up with our new minister. The purpose of the gathering is to think together and create how we want to prioritize our work and how we most want to be together in this new church year with Reverend Karen. Please don't miss it.
Can I mention one more thing?
Yeah.
One other thing, Betsy, am I up? Thank you. Betsy is having asthma, and that's why she's not here. So that's why we didn't do You've Got a Friend. We will do that very soon.
So you're next.
Thank you, Roz. Welcome to this Sabbath moment. Many may you know, belonging here. May our time together, our silence, words, song, laughter and tears, even our discomforts and disagreements come together, creating deeper truth. May all the ways we understand, experience, and connect serve to grow us individually and collectively. May this be a Sabbath celebration that increases love and justice in our hearts and our world. The first hymn, O Sabbath Day, was composed by Gustav Gottheil, a Prussian-born American rabbi. Gottheil eventually became one of the most influential, well-known, and controversial Reform Jewish leaders of his time. This simple call to Sabbath was written in the same context of Jews martyred by tyrants, living as slaves or in diaspora, holding faith until the day when they would be free. Our hymn is number 204, Come, O Sabbath Day. Come on over here. Come, O Sabbath day, and bring peace and healing on thy wing, and to every weary one let a word of blessing come. Thou shalt rest, thou shalt rest. Welcome Sabbath, let depart every care of troubled heart. Now the daily task is done, let a word of comfort come. Thou shalt rest, thou shalt rest. Work and sorrow cast away, Sabbath is for prayer and play. With the setting of the sun, let a cheering message come. Thou shalt rest, thou shalt rest. Our call to worship is from Sunday Spell by Mark Bellatini. And now, with the striking of this bell, it is all transformed, like wizardry. Time measured by the hands of clocks is now changed into time measured by breath, in and out, in and out. Time measured by memories and worries is now changed into time crafted by the next heartbeat and the next. It's almost here, a magic trick no different than the first second of creation. What is Sabbath? The word Sabbath comes from the Hebrew meaning rest. The requirement to rest is embedded in the fourth of the 10 commandments, to remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. The rituals of Jewish Sabbath are designed for the Jewish community over millennia to find refuge during all the work and play of daily life, and in times of forced migration, diaspora, slavery. Sabbath calls on the Jew to stop what they were doing and rest, but rest in a way that reconnects and recommits them to God, to each other, to their history, and to their purpose. We are a faith tradition that has evolved to incorporate many kinds of people, many ways of perceiving and experiencing the world. We are a faith tradition that does not insist that each of us find meaning in the same way. But the question remains for each of us and for us as a whole community. What is at the core of our individual and collective meaning? What is the meaning of our lives individually and together? Exploring that for the rest of our lives is not a bad way to live a life. Each of our worship services is a Sabbath celebration, a Sabbath recognition, a Sabbath moment of space and time. Sabbath is rest, but rest that reconnects us to our understanding of life's meaning. You are invited to rest in these moments, away from what drives your days, and make room for something else. We are making room for hints of something different, perhaps something that will grow into resilience, new possibilities. Many UU leaders are using a book for guidance in these chaotic times. It's by a Black poet, teacher, and organizer named Adrienne Marie Brown, called Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Changing Worlds. In it, she quotes another frontline leader, Spenta Kandawala, who writes this about resilience in the midst of breakdown and chaos. Quote, "In the destruction of something lies a whole new world of possibility, a place where patterns can finally become unhinged and there's space for something new to take its place," unquote. Many students of science know this to be true. Many people in recovery from addiction know this as well. What is at the core of UUUtica? What binds us? We'll be exploring these thoughts, brainstorming about these very ideas with one another on September 10th at the startup I hope you've read about in the newsletter. This is a living, breathing, dynamic faith community that co-creates its deepest values and ways of being together. Please join that process as it evolves in September from 9 a.m. to noon, September 10th. Sabbath is rest, but rest that reconnects us to our understanding of life's meaning. There is, in fact, a real risk if we do not create Sabbath time and space in our lives individually and collectively. The risk of losing a sense of intention, losing a sense of meaning in favor of being compelled by values we have not examined or values that have been imposed on us. Risk without Sabbath is people that are driven by suffering, by capitalism that pushes isolation, consumption, competition, by the patterns of living devoid of compassion and hope. This Sabbath ritual of worship, this Sabbath moment, invites us to ask ourselves if the values of compassion and love and the value of collective well-being are being overshadowed in our individual lives and in our collective life. We reflect on that and we remember what we value most and we recommit to it. That's Sabbath. Our Unitarian Universalist faith community does not demand a creedal conformity, but has built into our world a deep reliance on covenant with one another, along with the guidance of our 8 principles. Over time, we will explore our 8 principles more deeply through our Sabbath worship, our committees, our small group ministries, all the ways we, of all ages, continue learning together. Sabbath, not just an ancient relic of Judaism, is a rhythm that we have inherited from our ancestors as part of the lifeblood of this community, and hopefully in our individual lives to rest together, to support one another, to touch the deepest meanings of our individual and collective lives. In this Sabbath time, this time away from time, space away from routine space, we ask ourselves how we would like to refocus, recommit our days and nights to come. In this Sabbath time and space, we don't have to wait to recommit, but we can create a spot within us right now. I invite you to decide if that space is in your heart, in your mind, your belly, hands or feet, but you create that space and invite again what is most important to you, what renews you, what brings you a sense of meaning. Here we are in a moment of breath, a moment of deep personal truth. What for each of us is most important, and how might we give more of ourselves to that way of being? let yourself turn those thoughts and feelings around for a moment or two. Right now, we create in each of our bodies and minds, in the heart of this community, the possibility of renewal and recommitment to compassion, love, right relationships, truth in love. Let us allow ourselves alone and now allow ourselves together to feel a moment of deep meaning or a yearning for that which is as powerful. Let us acknowledge it is to do good, to do this together, to know that as our society and world royals, we claim together values that we know are worthy of life, of love, and of joy. May it be so for us all. Our next hymn is titled Winds Be Still. Winds Be Still was written by Unitarian Universalist Richard Kimball. He has been writing and editing in the fields of faith-based and secular curriculum development since 1973. His UU credits include Our Whole Lives, Sexuality Education for Adults from the UUA. Please rise as you are able. Please join together in singing Winds Be Still, number 83. Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Peace grace this time with harmony. Fly, bird of hope, and shine light of love, and in calm let us find tranquility. Birds fly high, lift our gaze toward distant view, help us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and far and lead us to see how we move through the winds of eternity. Light shine in, illuminate our inward view, help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true, so we may join our songs in new sounds that become full symphony. For our meditation and prayer, Melissa will perform a song called Return Again. Return Again was written by Shlomo Carlebach, who was born in Germany in 1925 and emigrated with his family during the rise of Nazi power. His family eventually immigrated to New York. Rabbi Shlomo was known as the Singing Rabbi. He was a pioneer of the Baal Teshuvah movement, which encouraged Jewish youth after the Holocaust to re-embrace their heritage. The offering is made in order to maintain a home for spiritual exploration, a community to practice relationship guided by covenants of compassion and truth. We support worship that helps us return again and again to who we are at our core. The ushers may now come forward to take the offering.
Now we will extinguish our chalice, and please join in with the words on the screen, whatever the screen is here. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
Our words for benediction. Go in peace, taking with you the possibility, the growing sense and knowledge of who you are, who we are at our core. Know that in difficult times, we all lose track of who we are at our core, and that we will help one another remember in compassion, love, beauty, and joy.